back. Aloha! Good evening, everybody. All right. Nice to see everybody here. This is our third meeting in a series of meetings of the Pahoa community geothermal folks. Everybody interested in that kind of thing. Tonight we've got a really good program for you. We've got a lot of speakers lined up. We'll have PowerPoint presentation by the Paley Defense Fund. Several speakers, as I said. Our first speaker is Steve Hirakami. He was instrumental in putting all these meetings together for us. He's the principal of the Hawaii Academy of Arts and Sciences. Everybody please welcome Steve Hirakami.
Thank you. Hey, I'd really like to thank all of you that came the last time and kind of went along with that kind of format, because at the end of the night it was really good. And I have some results summary, and I have the results of the multi-voting and also the reports back from the committees. So we're going to do a little of that follow-up exercise at the end of the night, because we have some pretty important people to speak. This week when Bob sends me a million emails and with attachments and everything, and I actually open them up and look at them. And there was one article right after the blowout in 1991, and there was a quote that kept ringing in my head. So I said, this is really pertinent. So this person is really knowledgeable. He's been really consistent on his stance. He's looked out for us in the community down in Kalapana, if you remember, and then actually all over this island. And so he's gonna give his perspective, and I really would like for you to welcome at this time Hirakami for mayor of the county of Hawaii, and also former president of the Hey, Harry, this on cheap meetings on a couple of days, but you know.
Hi, good evening. I really don't know what to expect as far as background, but I wanted to know, is there anyone in the audience or people in the audience that was here?
Talking to the mic.
Okay. Thank you, sorry. Before we start, in regards to, because I really don't know what is expected to be covered in a short time, are there anyone here that was during the episode of the geothermal plant in the 80s and the 90s? Would you raise your hand, please? Oh boy, okay. I see Jim, I know he was in here. Then I don't have to say much to those who were here. You know that this is not to put blame on anything, but this is a perspective as where we go from here on anything. This is about geothermal. I think it was a failure of us, and I say us meaning anyone who were in any kind of authority at the time of the development of geothermal. There was a lot of things that we didn't know about it, as far as the hazards, the risks, the whole thing about geothermal, so people learned as they went. And this can never be again. Whether geothermal is expanded or not expanded, and to what degree, this is what I asked of Steve. From day one, establish an image of this is your community. This is a responsibility of the community to find out what is being proposed for their community. And it is a responsibility of those that want to come into your community to talk to you and to explain in regards to detail all of the questions you have or whatever they're talking about. When we talk about geothermal, I have never come across something that was so confusing to so many people because of lack of information of geothermal. And unfortunately, for some of you that raised your hand and you lived here, you paid a very dear price in regards to geothermal. anyone who was here during the blowout and prior to the blowout and after the blowout, you know how difficult it was for you. I hope we in government and all of those that are responsible for geothermal expansion or continuation of it, will all learn from that. I ask that we collectively establish an image of a community that needs to, wants to, and have to work with the people who are proposing anything for this community, especially like geothermal. You have to understand what all the hazards are. You have to understand what all the risks are. You have to have resources available to you that can question the quote-unquote experts of the developer that will answer your questions. Just to take them in regards to what they say to you is not a matter of distrust. It's just a matter of common sense that you must have expertise of your own to really question as well as review what the answers are to your questions. I hope that we will never ever see what we saw in the 80s and 90s again. I will take some of that. The reasons for that is because of our ignorance of what we were dealing with. It wasn't very comfortable. I saw a lot of anger. A lot of it, if not most of it, was justified and understandable. I saw people's life at risk. And I saw a lot of sadness. I saw a lot of distrust for us in government and in the private sector, and again, rightfully so. I ask that we change all of that from here on in, establish an image, a reputation of this is your community. You have a right and they have a responsibility to work and talk with you in regards to the development of geothermal for this island. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much. Very wise words. Later, after our speakers tonight, I failed to mention that we will be breaking out into groups again. The county council, the Hawaii County Council, is coming down for a meeting on Tuesday, the 24th at 9 a.m. at the Pahoa cafeteria. Oh, I'm sorry, 6 p.m. 9 a.m. Really? Tuesday at 6 p.m. Tuesday, the 24th at 6 p.m. The County Council is convening. Our next speaker is Dominic Yagong. He's the current chair of the Hawaii County Council. He's been on council. He's been on council since 1996, and he is responsible for and very excited to be bringing the County Council down to you on Tuesday. Dominic Yagong.
Aloha! Aloha! It's so nice to be in Pahoa again. I used to actually work at the Malama Market over here. I was the district manager covering all the Malama Markets on the island, so I used to drive here every single week. So it's nice to, I went over and visited our friends over there before I came here. So nice to see everybody again. So thank you so much, Bob Patrici, for actually inviting me here tonight. I really appreciate it. Mr. Harry Kim, I have so much respect for Harry. I appreciate his words as always. You know, when I was listening to Harry speak, it kind of deja vu in a sense as he was talking about some of the concerns regarding geothermal. And the deja vu that I got was that, you know, if you recall just a few years ago, we had another controversial issue coming before the County Council, which was the incinerator proposal to come forth to the Hawaii County Council, which was a $125 million facility. But it covered the same type of concerns that you hear today. We're talking about the environment, we're talking about health and safety, we're talking about the cost, we're talking about whether it's Pono. And although Harry and I were on the different sides of the fence in regard to that proposal where Harry proposed that, and I was against it, one thing that I really respect about Mr. Kim was this. He did not stymie the process of public communication. You know, what he allowed and what he did not do is get involved in the council's. For myself, as being a member of that council, how important it was for us to make sure that we go out to the entire island and have these public hearings throughout the different districts so that we can hear from the people, have them express their thoughts, express their concerns, express their support, whatever it is, but provide an opportunity for people to come forward. In fact, I think on that particular proposal, Ms. Naioli was a councilwoman at that time. She actually was a swing vote to vote against that proposal, because a lot of the opposition actually came from this district right here in Puna, strong opposition here. But I really appreciated the fact that even when government has to make these types of decisions, that back then when Harry was mayor, he allowed us to go out to the community, and I respect him of that. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here right now, folks. One of the things that I felt that was extremely important, the county council, although at this point in time we don't have a role in making any decisions before the county council in regards to geothermal development. However, the county council has been utilized as that public arena, because we've had IDG come forward, make a presentation. We've had the Geothermal Working Group come forward. We even had HELCO and other renewable energy companies come forward to make proposals. And we have been the absolute avenue to have this public discussion that is now taking place, not only here in Puna, but throughout the island. And that's a good thing. And one of the things that we wanted to make sure, as chairman of the Hawaii County Council, one thing that I would not do is not allow for a process that does not allow everyone that equal opportunity. And that's why I'm here, and Bob asked me to give you a little prelude of the meeting on Tuesday, and that is to make sure everyone understands in this community that this is a tremendous opportunity, and I'll tell you why. There's a couple of different ways that we can come out to the community. We can use a public hearing process. But the problem with the public hearing process, what that means is basically the county council feels they need to go out to a community to listen to an issue. We go out to the community, we sit there, and we take public testimony, and although it's recorded, it's not recorded live television. And one of the things that we want to make sure with this particular issue, like any other major issue, that we share the concerns of communities with our whole island community. Because folks, this is not just an issue that's, to West Hawaii or East Hawaii or South or North. This is an island-wide issue. So what we did, instead of taking that route, what we wanted to do was to come forward and have a special council meeting. So it's just like having a council meeting out in Hilo or out in Kona, except it's not going to be 10 o'clock in the morning when everybody's working. What we wanted to do was come out when you folks have an opportunity to actually come out and bring your family and bring your neighbors and participate. And that's why we brought this meeting out to Pahoa. And that's why we brought this meeting to the Pahoa cafeteria. Now they say it holds 500 people. I hope it does, and I hope we have that many people show up. But that meeting is going to be televised as a normal council meeting. And what that means is it becomes documented not only orally, but also visibly, which is going to be played on the cable television. And people, of course, will get copies of that too. So that's what makes it very important. And what we did was we only put one item on the agenda. And the item on the agenda is to give, the Pele Defense Fund has been absolutely adamant in their concerns in regarding to the expansion of geothermal. And of course, many other community members as well, that I guess the partnership with the Pele Defense Fund. That's the only item that we're going to be taking up on the agenda. And what we hope to do, what we will have is a 1-hour presentation by the Pele Defense Fund. And at that point in time, we are going to be taking public testimony. So you or your neighbors or anyone that feel they'd like to share their thoughts, pro or con, is going to be welcome to that event. And we've also invited folks from the Department of Health to be there. Concerning whatever concerns is being brought forward, not only do we want to record it, but we also want people to hear it that can do something about it as well. So we are inviting other people to listen, to hear the people of the community. But I guess the main thing is I really want people to look at this as an opportunity to participate in the process, but to participate in a responsible way where we can have really good, open, honest dialogue, that people can look at each other in the eye and be respectful. Because in the end, it's going to be people like myself or other governmental officials that makes the decision. And the only way that you can make the decision is when you are truly informed. Just like how we were, I think, on the Wheelabrator proposal. And in the end, we finally made a decision based on being able to get as much information as possible from the people that we represent. So I'm very excited that the council will be coming out here this way on Tuesday. And it is going to be at 6 o'clock. It'll begin at 6 o'clock. And by the way, if you are wishing to testify, You will be granted a 3-minute testimony. It's going to be really strict, but we are going to limit it to 3 minutes because we expect a lot of people to come forward and testify. So please bring your questions or bring your concerns. And by the way, after all the public testimony, then there will be a discussion if the council decides to come up with any discussion at the point in time. And then we're going to adjourn. No decision is going to be made that evening, of course. It's really an opportunity for us to come out and listen to the people of Puna. And I just want to say this before I close. I just want to say I really want to thank many of you I recognize because you folks are always at the county council, volunteering your time, volunteering your mana'o to come before the county council. And we get paid for what we do, and you folks don't. And yet you folks take the time to come out and really express what's important to the people of the community. I want to thank you folks for that. I tell you, the things that the council has dealt with, for example, Bill 270, the building code, I tell you, if you want to see who was really at the meeting, it was Puna. You know, you want to talk about so far with the geothermal, geothermal discussion, it was Puna. So I really thank you guys because you folks have taken that responsibility as part of your community to come out and say what's on your mind and make sure that policymakers understands all the sides of the story. So I want to say congratulations to you for that. Continue to do that. And by the way, I tell this everywhere I go. I'm the only Yagong in a phone book, so I'm easy to find. So if you guys ever have want to speak to me about anything, please don't hesitate to call on me. Thank you very much, everybody. Aloha.